Hey, kiddo. Hey, Dungeon Master. Let's talk about D&D Combat. And I'm going to call you out right now. I'm going to piss you off, and you're not going to like what I'm going to say. You are slow when it comes to combat. Not because of the game, just because you're fucking slow. And you know you're slow. And maybe you think it doesn't matter, but it does. And I'm going to tell you why you being slow matters. I'm also going to tell you why I simplify certain things in combat and try to cut things out to get more speed. I want things to be smooth, don't misunderstand, but I want things to go as fast as possible. Alright, let's get to it. You are slow in how you talk and how you go from player to player. You're slow in how you deal with dice rolls, how you deal with everything. From, figuring out the hit points, to figuring out what's going on with the monster here, to figuring out what the player characters are doing. You're slow, and you're accepting of it, and you know you are. You just go with the flow, right? That's what you think, but you could be going faster. And at this stage, many of you are just not trying to go faster. Why is speed important in combat? Immersion. Speed and pressure in combat is important. So remember to get at your players. Do limit them. If they take too long to speak up, guess what? They miss their turn. They stand there in shock. Something has happened. Nobody knows. There'll be no explanation, but you're skipping them. If you don't have the nerve to do something like that as a dungeon master because you're not abusing a player is abusing what they're supposed to do, right? They are required to have an answer as quick as they possibly can. And at a certain rate, if they can't get, to a certain speed, these games aren't for them. These games don't work. You break immersion if you allow it. So it's just unacceptable. It is unacceptable. It breaks the game. If it breaks the game, you can't keep going with it, right? So my point is there's an expectation on players, and if they don't want to live up to it, you do have to punish them. You are managing the game not just for you and that one player, but also for the other players. And if that is ruining the experience, taking the other players out of immersion because you got a slow player, guess who is responsible for that? Many of you might blame the player, right? No, it's you. What happens for the players when the fight is moving really fast? Like there's pressure, but it's going along. Well, let alone they're thinking about what's going on, they're going to start using their imagination so they can figure out what to do. They're trying to picture the enemy. They're trying to picture themselves. They begin to get an immersion. It doesn't matter what kind of player is at the table. The faster you're going into that imagination and immersion. Now, if you keep that speed up all the way through the fight, you keep them immersed. And it's going to be a great experience for the players. Trust me, you don't want to break immersion by slowing down for dice rolls. It's like, no, roll the dice, know what the thing is, and go with it really quickly. Like, really quickly. Get players, if they have to roll 2 or 3 rolls, doesn't matter how many rolls they have to make. It's the pace of rolling and how quickly you deal with that. That's the important part. That's true in just about every other area of the game, too. You don't want to slow the game down through mechanics and dice rolling, so you're always looking to make those things work as fast as you can make them work. So don't sit there and get comfortable in this sort of slow-minded pace where you're sitting there going, yeah, okay. Don't do that. Don't do that. Speed up. Pick it up. Put some energy into what you're doing. Now, when we get to the rules, why would we want to simplify rules around combat like initiative? Well, we're making sure that helps speed us up. But here's the thing. There is some realism that when it gets in the way of the game and the immersion, it is okay to adjust it or actually throw it out, as long as you're not killing the illusion, because that's really what you're looking to create, the illusion of things going on that are acceptable to players. So you don't have to apply a bunch of realism if the illusion is covered, right? Like, it's the experience you're having with the fight. Was it fun? Or was it, exciting? Was it on the edge? Well, if there's realism that you're putting into the game that gets in the way, slows the game down, kills immersion, well, it doesn't matter what you think is playing out. If everybody's just sort of slow and they're not in their minds and not in their imagination, you're doing nothing but really rolling dice. You can talk about it like it's exciting afterwards, but during the experience, I promise you, it's not for your players. I run fast combat. Really fast. And here is something that I discovered over the many years that I've been running these games. when you're doing this type of combat. In that type of combat, when a player loses their character, character death, I find many players that you might assume would frown at character death, not frowning at all. They don't seem to feel like the death is shallow. The brutal, intensity, the feel, being immersed in combat, they like that experience, and they're not just out of that immersion sitting there watching dice roll and then hearing that their characters die. So that is something to consider. Anyway, for now, take care. You know what you can do? You can hit the like button. You can share the video. Oh, and there's another button you can press. That one that lets you subscribe to my channel for more content. Oh yeah, there's that bell thing. You can press that so you know when I've uploaded a new video right away.